All right, we are live on the air, the Loose Lug Nuts Season 2, Episode 10, COTA, right-hand turns, and lots of them this week. And I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Aaron Simmons, better known as Simoleons. We are without Zachary Brandwell tonight. He went and got married over the weekend and is still on his honeymoon. So, Zach, if you're out there, if you're tuning in, thanks for watching. Congratulations to you and Haley. But right now, it is Aaron and I holding down the fort. How are you this evening, Aaron?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Can't complain too much. For those of you who watched last week, and I said that I got a job interview, the next day. Turns out that interview did not go as planned. The company and I just couldn't agree to terms, and with all respect to them, I agree with what they're trying to do, but it just wasn't for me. So unfortunately, I had to decline that interview and decline that job. But I'm still with my own company, and I'm still very happy with them. So. Doing all right, Tom. How are you doing tonight, brother?
Doing pretty good, good news, bad news. This is spring break here. So this is spring break week for my son, and he is spending most of the week with his mom. So I'm glad he is getting to spend some quality time with her. He didn't get to see her that often, but I certainly miss him. Wish he was here. Wish he was here. But he's been struggling with some sore throat. But I talked to him today. He is feeling much better. Funny how when you don't have to go to school and you're on spring break, those sore throats just go away.
Yeah, well, for me, they always seem to pop up at the absolute worst time.
Uh,
In fact, I remember one time when I was in middle school, I was actually going to the Bristol night race when I was thinking like 7th or 8th grade. I was so excited to go, and the day before we were supposed to go, I got strep throat.
oh, that's
Yeah.
that's that's crappy timing. Crappy timing.
Yep.
Okay.
So.
All right, Mike Hora joining in. Mike, thank you. Glad to
Hi,
have you,
boy,
buddy.
Mike. What do you, buddy?
Glad you are finally back in Iowa. Did you manage to keep the place from burning down, Mike? Or if it did burn down, please don't confess to any felonies here in the comments. That would not be good.
No, sadly, we are not attorneys. We cannot have you there, brother.
Ooh, chicken pox on your birthday. Whoever gave you that present, I would like unfriend them.
Yeah, I would unfriend or probably disown them. But hey, you know what, man? I'm glad you're over. Glad you're with us, and I am really excited to talk about COTA.
All right, so COTA, we had three races. None of them lacked for excitement. Since Zach is not here, you and I got to handle this. Take us through the truck race, Simoleons.
Oh boy. All right. So for the truck race, honestly, not really a whole lot. We did get a sweep with Zane Smith winning stage 1, 2, and the overall win. But unfortunately for Purdy, he did not have a Purdy day. But he got spun he spun Crafton, and then later he got spun by Crafton out of retaliation later on. But he got spun again pretty much at the last restart. So he did not have a great day. Cup regulars Bush and Bowman were pretty much the dominant forces of the day besides St. Smith. Nemechek's trying to stick his nose in there, trying to really kind of get his first good finish of the season, but unfortunately, that was not meant to be. He was pretty much relegated to about mid-place pack, which is pretty much on par for a season for right now. But the story for the truck race was Bowman, Stuart Friesen, and Kyle Busch off of turn 11 to getting into like a three truck row, and just Bowman pretty much forcing them to overshoot that corner, leaving Zane Smith a clear path for the lead, and him overall winning it. Bowman, unfortunately, he went from about first to I think like in the back 20th positions very quickly. So not a great day for him. Friesen very frustrated. Busch absolutely frustrated with Bowman for his move because Bowman essentially just dive bombed him towards the end. But Zane Smith, what an absolute run for him at COTA, gets the win, sweeps the day. So he's looking very strong with the front row truck.
Okay, so Zane, you had he was fourth, if I'm not mistaken, going into turn 11, right?
Yep, fourth going into 11.
Okay, did Kyle Busch make any comments afterwards, or did anybody say that he Alex Bowmaned his way to the win? I'm like, I'm sitting there seeing this highlight, and I'm going, "Come on, Kyle, come on, let's see the interview. Let's see the say that Zane Smith Alex Bowmaned his way to the win."
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I was waiting to hear it.
Go ahead and call Zane Smith like a hack or something, or saying like he's a back marker winner or something like that. Come on, but I don't believe he did. I think he was too pissed off at Bowman in order to make those comments. So I don't believe he did.
Turn 11 was like calamity corner for COTA, because that was the place where everybody tried to make the last lap pass. That was the wide spot. That was the place to dive bomb people. That was the corner. If you were going to have your eyes on one corner of that race, you'd want to keep your eyes on corner 11. It seemed like that, and turn 1 on the restarts. Holy cow. I don't think I've ever seen that many restarts where there was 5 wide going through turn 1. And that was in all series, every restart.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, besides turn 1 and turn 11, I think COTA was an absolute grand slam this weekend overall for NASCAR. Granted, it is a little bit too long, and the cars do seem to be kind of stretched out a little bit at times. But still, I mean, you had action-packed weekend. You had an action-packed weekend at one of the biggest road courses in America. So, I think it was an overall slam dunk for NASCAR this weekend.
Oh, I was watching the race, and I'm like, oh, I so want to go drive this track on Forza 7, or I wish I could play it on NASCAR 21, or go get on it in iRace. But I was watching, I'm like, this looks like a fun track. It made me want to go run the track.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so I'll take you through the Xfinity race, and there's not that much to talk about the Xfinity race, but I gotta say, I recorded the Xfinity race, okay? So I recorded it and actually watched it after I had seen the Cup race. So I pull it up on the DirecTV stream. I hit play. I start watching it, and it's Ross Chastain and AJ Allmendinger battling for the lead. And I'm like, wait a minute. I've seen this before. I've seen it. I'm like, did I hit the right race?
It's about Kevin Bacon from Back to the Future, or what? Or wait, was Kevin Bacon Back to the Future?
That was Michael J. Fox.
Oh, J. Fox. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm not good with movies. But anyway, that one scene in Back to the Future where it goes, hey, wait, I've seen this before. I've seen this thing before.
Yeah. So anyway, the story of the race, really, there wasn't that much that went on. The things that struck me all weekend about COTA is nobody wanted stage points. Everybody was opting for track position. God help you if you were in a fantasy league this weekend, because you've got somebody running, up front in the stage, and then with 3 laps to go, they're pulling on pit road because they want track position for the next stage. And if you're sitting there thinking you're out of it and you're running 15th place, all of a sudden your guy wins the stage. Nobody wanted the stage points. Everybody was opting for the track position and pitting. The only guy that stayed out and wanted the stage win was, God bless him, the trophy hunter, AJ Allmendinger. So he stayed out in stage 1, restarted 14th, came back, was I think up to 3rd or 4th by the end of stage 2. So he raced his way through there. The big contenders were really Ross Chastain, AJ Allmendinger, and Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs had some contact with somebody, and I think broke off a valve stem or had some problem with a valve stem on the tire, and wound up having to pit off sequence and basically ruined his day. But this was the only race that didn't have an exciting finish. We didn't have a real late yellow flag in it. AJ Allmendinger got out to about a 2 or 3 second lead, far enough out that nobody could dive bomb him in turn 11. And AJ Allmendinger cruises to the victory, proving again that he is the road course ringer. I mean, he's a road course ringer in the Cup Series. So you put him on a road course in Xfinity, and it's like stealing candy from a baby. But that was kind of the story of the Xfinity race. Yeah, as much as as the other 2 races were exciting, this kind of AJ Allmendinger taking the kids to school all day in the Xfinity race.
Yeah, it really seemed like it. I mean, granted, when you put Allmendinger, who's full time in Xfinity, at a road course, it's pretty much like a 99% chance Allmendinger's going to win that race.
Yeah, unless you got somebody like Kyle Busch stepping in to give him some competition, yeah, he's going to take people to school.
Yep.
And you got to love the confidence. He stays out and doesn't pit and wins stage 1. He's like, restart 14th stage 2, not a problem. Drive my way through traffic and I'll be there at the end.
Yeah, and
Gotta
I
love
gotta
the confidence.
Oh yeah, I mean, Allmendinger this year, he's really strutting his stuff this year, I think, because that was probably the one post race, I guess like celebration where he wasn't like jumping up and down and hugging everybody and really getting like emotionally excited that he won a race. It was more like a blasé kind of win for him, which is odd.
Just another day at the office. It's a road course. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Which I think was a complete 180 from last year, but hey, you know
Hey,
what?
we could see the track this year.
Hmm?
We could see the track this year.
That's right. This is the first year where we actually had a
Huge
dry race at COTA.
Yeah.
Which I think adds to the excitement too, because now drivers can actually see the track and see where they're going. It's
and each other. They could see each other. Yeah.
And each other.
Yeah. So, all right. So tell us about the Cup race. So that was the other exciting race, and I think that took the cake for excitement. Holy cow!
Oh, you bet your butt it did. Stage 1. I think this is I think this is a precursor to the entire day, where Trackhouse Racing with Daniel Suarez was just absolutely started from the pole and was just dominant the entire day. Well, actually, no, started in second, I believe, because Blaine got the pole, and Suarez just dominated the entire day. And Blaney tried his best, his damnedest, to try and keep up with Suarez in stage 1, but just nothing was working for him. And Suarez will take the win in stage 1, his second stage win of his career, which was absolutely
every lap. I mean, Suarez just wore everybody out in stage 1.
Yeah, and if you were to just watch stage 1, you would think, oh, Suarez has this in the bag. There's no way anyone can keep up with him. Allow me to introduce you to stage 2, where turn 1 on the restart. Oh my god, poor guy. Where Suarez had to pit at the end of the stage. He did not pit before the stage. And so he's all the way back in 20th. And he just gets shoved up. He spins around off of turn 1, Calamity Corner, and cuts down a left rear tire. He has to limp the car all the way around like the over 2-mile road course on a busted left rear tire. And he somehow managed to do that. So a fantastic job for him. Oh, and also keep in mind, Clint Boyer also talked to him after the stage, which probably got him the commentator's curse. We will see that later on in the race also, because Clint Boyer can't keep his mouth shut. But then it's kind of stage 2. This is kind of where we see kind of where that the badge for caution is, because Larson also goes around later on in the first lap. He does not go. No caution was thrown out. But then here comes Ross in stage 2, starting to really strut his stuff, getting up through the pack, and really is just kind of who wants to try and win the race, or who wants stage points in stage 2. Virtually everybody up front, aside from Danny Hamlin, all came in for pits. Which, by the way, Austin Cindric and Ross Chastain had an amazing battle in stage 2. Where as soon as Ross passed him, the turn right before they were going into the pits, Ross passes him, and then they both go on a pit road simultaneously. I thought for sure both of them were getting a speeding penalty. None of them did, which I could also use that talent in Heat 5, because I really use that, because I always speeding penalty in that game. But Hamlin wins stage 2, but that was essentially just gives it to him. Stage 3, well, this is where everything just goes straight to hell. Logano Blaney up front. Logano, for some reason, I guess, locks up the rear tires, and he just overshot turn 1 completely. Ross and Allmendinger will take those 2 spots. They virtually would not lose those 2 spots the rest of the stage. Cindric, who's up there for most of the day, he gets spinned. He spun himself out. But then we see Bubba Wallace loses a tire off of a loose lug nut. And he got hit with a massive fine after that race because loose lug nut. But then we get to 2 to go, where we got Chastain, Allmendinger, and somehow, some way, the back end win driver himself, Bowman, are 1, 2, 3 going into like the final few corners of it. Allmendinger slams into Chastain. He makes him swing wide off of turn 13, 14, I think. One of the tight left-handers. So Allmendinger gets the lead. Here comes Bowman. He tries to take second away from Chastain. Can't do it. Chastain up high. He just shoves Allmendinger. Overshoots the corner. Bowman doesn't realize it. He smacks into Allmendinger. Chastain takes both of them out. Chastain has a clear path for the win for his first win in the Cup Series. And in typical watermelon farmer style, he smashes a watermelon on the track. Absolute fantastic finish at COTA, and probably the best finish of the year so far.
Hey, let me tell you, at COTA, several things to talk about here. One is, I really like the fact that you're making laps at COTA that are like 2 minutes or something, or over 2 minutes. I like the fact that NASCAR, if you spun out, as long as your car could get moving again, they didn't throw the caution.
Mm-mm.
They let them race, because if you throw a caution at COTA, it's 10 minutes before you're going to see another green flag lap at a minimum.
Yep.
So I love that. I loved him trying to talk to Tony Stewart about getting up at that big tower that's 250 feet up in the air. And he's like, no, not happening. No way.
Nope. I mean, he's from Indiana, where the highest point is probably your hill in the backyard. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
You can stand on a tin can and see over the highest hill in Indiana.
Yep. And honestly, funny story. I'll make it short. I was over at my aunt's house over near Kokomo, and there's an electrical storm or a thunderstorm that looked like it was in her front yard. And we turn on the local news and kind of make sure where this thing is, because we had to drive like nearly an hour to get back to my house up there. Turns out there's no storm for miles until you get to Indianapolis, 2.5 hours south, and it looked like it was in our front yard. So for those of you who haven't been to Indiana, that's how flat it is.
Wow.
But I will say the sunsets of Indiana are fantastic. I will give him that.
Yeah. But how about Allmendinger? He's like, if this is how we're going to play the game, then game on.
Yep.
He got bumped. He got moved out of or not Allmendinger, Chastain. Chastain got moved out of the way. Allmendinger moved him to take the lead. Okay. When that happened, Chastain says game on. So when it's time for payback, it's not I'm going to move you. I'm going to move you into the car beside you and take both of you out. It's like that's like mafia driving. That's like mafia rules. Like, you put one of my guys in the hospital, I'm going to put one of your guys in the morgue.
Guys in the morgue. Yep.
Yeah. That was like, okay, if this is how we're going to play, then I can play rough too.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing: throughout the whole race, so like stage 2 from stage 2 until the end of the race, Chastain was giving no quarter to anybody. Whether you were Allmendinger, Cindric, Reddick, hell, probably even his own teammate. If he had the chance, he was giving no quarter to anybody throughout the entire race. So that's really not surprising.
He drove a great race, but one of the things that amazed me is the announcers talking about this as the battle's coming down to Chastain and Allmendinger. Chastain is the Cup Series regular. I know he's a young guy, but he is the Cup Series regular. Allmendinger is the Xfinity guy stepping up to the Cup. They're talking about it like Allmendinger is the grizzled veteran, like he is searching out the young rookie to find his weaknesses, and he's already made up his mind. They're making it out like Allmendinger is the grizzled veteran here when Chastain was the Cup Series regular. But I got to tell you, I do not think Chastain made a mistake all day long.
Mm-mm.
And when you got 20 turns in a track, there's a lot of chances to do things wrong.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially at COTA, where they've only been to once, and that was a rained event where really no one got a clear gaze on the track. to see kind of how far they can push the limit. I mean, Chastain had a damn good car Sunday, and he made sure everyone knew it.
So I think this is 3 or 4 podium finishes in a row and his first win. I had decided that it was a safe bet to say at least one of the Trackhouse guys was going to come home top 5 because they've been doing it every week. I initially thought it was going to be Suarez, but it turned out to be Chastain.
Yeah, and here's the thing: we're talking about Chastain and how great he ran. Suarez ran really well too. Again, he led all of stage 1 and got the victory in stage 1. If it weren't for that cut tire, he'd probably be right up there with him.
Yeah, he kind of battled it back to about 12th place, and it seemed like he stalled out. He couldn't get anywhere after that.
Yeah. He battled back to...
I don't know where he finished. He was 12th for a big chunk of stage 3.
24th. I don't know how
last restart got him.
Yeah, I think so.
Last restart. But he was got it up to 12th and ran from 12th to 17th most of the last stage.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, if I'm Suarez, I wouldn't let that 24th place get to him. I mean, he had a damn good car all day, too.
Yeah. Trackhouse has been extremely impressive this year, pretty much from Daytona on.
Mm-hmm.
But that is COTA. Let's get into NASCAR news. Do you want to take us through the news, Aaron, or do you want us to have? You want me to take us through there?
I'll go through the news. I'll fill Zach's shoes.
All right. Before you get into the news, we got 4 viewers out here. Drop us a comment. Tell us what you thought of COTA. Tell us what you thought of the news stories. Mike Hora, a longtime viewer, always with great comments. Appreciate you dropping some comments here. Tell us what you think. But tell us what some of the other viewers are thinking. Drop us a comment. Tell us what you're thinking about the COTA race or about the news stories. But with that, take it away, Aaron.
Yeah, please do, guys. Please don't be shy. We won't bite much. All right, news story number 1, and this is probably the biggest story heading into COTA. NASCAR drops an absolute hammer on Brad Keselowski and RFK Racing. A 100-point penalty and suspends the crew chief for 4 races. That was due to, I believe, a tire infraction that NASCAR was not made aware of by the team, which pretty much hinders his chances to make it into the playoff, to where, as of right now, he's probably a win-to-get-in driver. Do you agree with that, Tom? Do you think that he is a win-to-get-in driver?
I don't see, with the speed they have shown this year, or I should say maybe the lack of speed, I just haven't seen them be that impressive. I think it is a win to get in. And, with the speed they have shown, I got to believe he's thinking fuel mileage or restrictor plate track is his ticket in, because I don't think that they can race their way in. He was back near 15th or 16th place before then, so he was kind of struggling to stay in the playoff picture to begin with. Now 100 points back, I don't see him making it up unless he can pull off a win.
I mean, just from right now, his best finish right now is probably, his dual win at Daytona. Besides that, it's been 27th, 24th, 23rd, 12th, and 14th.
Yeah.
Not very
You're
fast.
You're not going to make up 100 points if that's where you're running.
Yeah,
Now, did they say it was a tire? Because all that I heard was they did a modification to a vendor, I don't know exactly the right wording, vendor spec part. So it was some part that a vendor provides that you're just supposed to use it as it comes, and they made a modification. I did not hear that they announced what the part was or what part of the car was. Was it a tire? Because I know Penske was messing with tires earlier in the year.
Actually, I will correct myself. They did not say what part of the car it was. But yeah, according to Matt McCall, it was. According to the article right here, is for, quote, modifying a part supplied by a vendor. It did not say what part it was. I'm suspecting a tire, because that's usually kind of what the penalties are going for nowadays. But
yeah,
well, who knows?
To their credit, NASCAR made it very clear at the beginning of the season that if it was a vendor spec part, that they were going to be very harsh with the penalties. And so they are. So to me, you knew the rules. You knew NASCAR was going to drop the hammer. I hate it for Brad, but at the same time, the Penske organization made their bed. They got to lie in it now.
Yep, that's unfortunate, but hey, still fairly early in the season. Hopefully they can kind of bounce back from that, but they got a massive hill to climb.
Yeah.
All right, news story number 2 of the day, and this comes from AJ Allmendinger's post-race comments from the Cup race, where he didn't really particularly like the way that he was used up by Chastain kind of towards the end of the Cup race. Do you agree with his comments, or do you think he's just being a little bit salty for not winning the race?
I thought the comments were very odd. Because he made comments to the effect of, well, everybody's got to make their own decisions and everybody's got to be able to sleep at night based on, whatever actions they take or however he said it. And everybody's got to be able to live with themselves, which I thought was a very odd comment or odd way of putting that. But I also think, how short is and I like AJ. He's one of my favorite drivers across any series or any spectrum of racing. But AJ, how short is your memory? You started this. You moved Chastain first. You don't have any right to be upset that he came back and moved you back and upped the game a little bit. I mean, how short is your memory? I just thought, considering that he started it, by moving Chastain out of the way, I thought it was very odd comments, and I thought it was kind of salty, especially considering that, how he started it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty salty too. I mean, I get it. That was a very hard-fought race. Your car was one of the fastest all day long. You are a well-known road course racer, and that was probably one of your best races or best chances to try and get a win in your limited season in the Cup race. But yeah, like Tom said, you kind of started this event. You started this by shoving Chastain into a corner. I mean, it's only right for Chastain to kind of do unto you what you've done to him. So,
yeah.
I didn't
chiming in on the Brad Keselowski, what if it was a manufacturer defect? That's kind of what they were trying to do with the wheels that were confiscated at Daytona. But they were kind of like saying, because we all know how much trouble everybody had with the wheels at Daytona. They were trying to make them work better. So I don't know. That would be ironic.
Yeah, it would, but anyway, going back to Allgaier here. Yeah, Allgaier, I love you, buddy. You're one of my favorite drivers of all time, just because you're just that lovable underdog. But it was pretty much a salty take on it, in my opinion. Chastain had every right to do that because you started it. So.
Yeah, and I got to say, normally we would show the interview clip here, but I got banned from doing live shows because I got a copyright strike against me. So we're going to refrain from showing stuff like that for a while.
Yeah, but even though we can't show it, we can post the link.
Yeah. Earl chiming in says he liked Ross's move. I did too. I had no problem with it, especially after he had already gotten moved.
Yeah, if Chastain didn't get shoved by Allmendinger, I would have a problem with it. But Allmendinger did shove him, so I think that kind of justifies. Yeah, you did it to me. I'm gonna do it to you back. And I'm going to post the link now of Allgaier's post-race interview for y'all to check it out.
Allmendinger. You said
Allmendinger, yeah. Oops. Yeah. I'm just struggling tonight, apparently.
We all are. It's the Zach effect. We're missing Zach.
Yeah, I will say I'm not used to this role, and so I'm trying to butcher this as best I can. All right, and so our third and final news story of the night, Honda opens up a world-class wind tunnel in Ohio. So, Tom, what do you make of this?
First, I just love the fact that we've got such a huge investment by Honda. The story says it's like $124 million wind tunnel. I think it's primarily going to be used for like IndyCar and stuff like that. It really doesn't mention NASCAR in it, but we keep hearing rumors that Honda may be the next manufacturer to come in. We know they've pulled out of F1 if I'm getting my series right. And now they made this huge investment right here in Central Ohio. If I were to read deep into the tea leaves, I would say that the fact that you've got Colleague Racing there in Columbus, Ohio, this wind tunnel not far away, that if Honda ever does enter NASCAR, Colleague would be their franchise team that they would go with. That Colleague would be the first one to jump on there. But I think it's great that we got this. I hope that the NASCAR guys can use it. I know it's out of their neck of the woods in Charlotte, but man, it just sounds fantastic. It sounds like it is an absolute state-of-the-art, best in the world type facility.
Yeah.
And it's outside of, it's in Central Ohio, so I'm not sure exactly where in Central Ohio, but that's like probably less than 3 hours from me. I'm wondering if you can like do tours of it.
I'm sure you can. I'm very sure you can. But to me, I think I don't want to really go too much into it, just because Honda, even though the Honda going to NASCAR is just a rumor at this point. But hey, if Honda ever did want to go into NASCAR, this is probably kind of where you start to get kind of like a grip onto the aero package here. But the one problem I do have with it, I believe the bodies are made by a third party. They're not made by the actual car manufacturers themselves anymore. Essentially just the logos with it.
Okay. 190 mile an hour winds is what they can produce in this wind tunnel. Wow.
That just sounds like Ohio in spring to me.
All right.
I'm sorry for anyone in Ohio. I had to make that joke. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, especially just for like just for car manufacturing in America alone, this is a great addition.
Yeah. Powered by two 40-ton belt modules, a 5-belt, one under each vehicle tire and one belt under the vehicle center. I'm reading the specs on it. Top speed 192.63 miles per hour. Man, I gotta go see this thing.
Oh yeah. But that will do it for the news. Okay. Now move on to one of my favorite segments: who's hot and who's not. And Tom, I will go with you. And I was gonna put one of yours, but you've already got it first. So
yeah, so I'm going with who's hot. Young Guns. Young Guns, another driver under the age of 30 won this week. Every race this year has been won by a driver under the age of 30. I think we're up to like 8 or 9 wins in a row by drivers under that age. So it is a youth movement in NASCAR. And here we are deep into the season, 2 months in, and we've still not had a repeat winner in NASCAR. So this new car is doing exactly what it's supposed to. It's making the smaller teams more competitive. It's putting it back in the hands of the driver. And right now, the young guns seem to be adapting to this much better than the older guys. So I'm going to go with they are hot right now. As far as who's not, man, 23XI Racing just had a bad weekend. Bubba loses a tire, then he's going to lose his crew chief for 4 races. I think he finished back in the 30s. Kurt Busch had problems all day. COTA was just not good to them at all. They are going to be glad to see Austin, Texas in the rearview mirror, and they're going to be glad to going back to one of the core NASCAR tracks in Richmond. But a horrible weekend for just about everybody involved with 23XI Racing. So that's who I got for who's hot and who is not.
Yeah, honestly, 2 great picks. The Young Guns movement, which I was gonna put on there because, this is, I think, like the 3rd driver already this season getting their first win ever in the top level of NASCAR. So Lord only knows what's going to happen the rest of the year. But so far, this year's off to a fantastic start, minus all the car issues. But for my who's hot this week, I'm going with COTA. I mean, so far you got the truck race that was pretty much exciting. That had an exciting finish. The Xfinity Series, well, yeah, not so much exciting finishes, but was still exciting in its own right. And then of course the Cup Series chaos. At the end, could have definitely put on a show for anyone who was watching or in attendance this weekend. And that was a major bounce back from last year's, rain drop or rainstorm conundrum. So I'm going with COTA for my who's hot. And who's not this week, I'm going with the vets of NASCAR. Aside from AJ Allmendinger, of course, who had a strong showing, the vets didn't really show up this week in at least the Cup Series. In the Truck Series and Xfinity Series, the vets really kind of took front center stage. But in the Cup Series, not so much. The youth movement is alive and well in the Cup Series, and I think COTA pretty much has proved it. But the vets of NASCAR, at least in the Cup Series, and exception for AJ Allmendinger, not really so much this week. And so that is my who's hot and who is not.
Yeah, a lot to choose from with COTA this weekend. A lot of
Absolutely.
action. Yeah. All right, so we're sticking with you, Aaron. Green flag, red flag. What you got this week?
All right. And for those who are commenting on this live stream, which all of you should, it's a requirement for this live stream. Please go ahead and comment down. If you please go ahead and comment green flag if you agree with the statement or question, or red flag if you disagree with it. And please tell us why you agree or disagree with it. We're very curious here on this channel. But green flag, red flag, number one of the night. After the incident between Kyle Busch and Alex Bowman in the Truck Series race at COTA, these two are going to be NASCAR's next big feud. Green flag or red flag? Tom, we'll start with you first.
I'm going to say red flag. There's something missing here, and I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't seem like these two have the fire towards each other that Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick did. It's just there's something missing here. Kyle Busch's interview after the Xfinity race was pretty bland and mature by Kyle Busch standards. And Alex Bowman, I don't know that I've seen Alex Bowman get really into it with anybody. So I just don't see it. I'm going to say red flag because I just don't think there is. I don't know, the fire towards each other that we see that you need to make it a real feud.
Yeah, I will have to agree with you on that one. I'm going red flag as well. Besides the backhand or for me, like full on like Will Smith slap at Las Vegas in his comments about Bowman backing into every single race when he's ever gotten, that's pretty much the extent of their quote unquote rivalry. I mean, they haven't really had too much entanglement over the course of Bowman's career in NASCAR and Busch's career. But I don't know. After these 2 weeks, there might be something coming up if they continue to kind of get in this. If they continue to kind of like butt heads. But as of right now, no, I'm not really seeing it. So I'm going red flag with that.
Yeah, it looks like Earl and Mike both are saying. Earl says just hard racing, and Mike says red flags. I think they are agreeing with us that this just doesn't have the speed, the steam right now to turn into a big rivalry.
Yeah, and I would fully agree with that. So, green flag, red flag number 2 of the night. Ross Chastain's watermelon smash is the best victory celebration since Carl Edwards' backflips. Green flag or red flag? Tom, what you got?
Okay, now I don't keep track of victory celebrations that much. I know Brad Keselowski does the American flag, and people do different versions of burnouts, and Tony Stewart was the one who would climb the fence.
Yep.
Those are all good, but I'm trying to think because I don't keep track of the lane celebrations that much, but I really got to say this is pretty good. This is pretty good. I like this. I'm going to say green flag. I will say though, it's the best since Carl Edwards. I still don't put it in the category of a Carl Edwards backflip, but I'm going to say green flag.
Okay, going by the wording of the statement here. Is the best victory celebration since Carl Edwards backflips. I would totally agree with that. I would say green flag all the way because one, is it the best victory celebration, but it's also the most creative. I mean, who in the right mind would think to smash a watermelon on a track after you win? Nobody.
Nobody. Well,
Nobody,
that's his background. He is either a 7th or 8th generation watermelon farmer.
Yeah, absolutely. And
so he is staying true to his roots. And I remember when he was in the truck series, I think he had the Georgia Watermelon Growers Association sponsoring him one race or something. But yeah, I think it's great.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. But I don't think it's the best victory celebration. I think the delegation still goes to Carl Edwards after 4, 5, nearly 600 miles of racing. He still has the energy to do a backflip off of a car. That is still the best. That's still the best victory celebration I've ever seen in NASCAR, and probably will ever see. But the Chastain Watermelon Smash is got to be at least top 5, maybe even top 3. So I'm going green flag with that.
Yeah, definitely going to be hard top. Okay, so I'm thinking of like, what could you do as a victory celebration? Okay, like they used to do go bowling at the Glen. Used to be a race there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see anybody throwing a bowling ball into the crowd after they win.
No,
not a good idea. Not a good look.
No, man. Okay, or what you could do is set up with some bowling pins kind of towards the end of the straightaway and have the car kind of like smash through those.
That could be cool.
Yeah, it'd take a while to set up and probably not remotely safe for anybody, but
probably
it's creative. I'll give them that. That is absolutely creative.
Yeah, we're suspending crew chiefs for tires that could fall off during the race. I don't think we want bowling pins being hit by a car going 100 miles an hour. So probably not going to work.
No, but still, I mean, I would tip my hat to whoever team has the steel to do that.
Yeah.
I would be.
I want to know.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm in West Virginia, but I couldn't find a watermelon in late March at a grocery store. So I want to know where they got the watermelon from.
Probably from his farm.
Probably. Well, I wouldn't think they'd be ripe yet, but maybe they're hydroponic or whatever. They grow them in greenhouses. I don't know, but it was great to see.
I mean, granted, they aren't a watermelon farm, so I imagine they have those things like stashed for days, probably. Weeks, months, probably.
Adam Lauer getting here. Better late than never. Thank you, Adam. Whoa, you did not need to do that. But thank you, sir.
That's a full tank of gas, man. What are you doing? What are you doing, Adam?
For that kind of money, we might name the podcast after you.
Or at least give you a shout out every time.
Wow.
But, damn, Adam, thank you so much, man. You are way too generous to us.
I'm changing my who's hot, who's not. Who's hot? I'm going with Adam. Adam is hot. Adam is my pick.
You know
who's
what?
Hot.
Yes, I completely agree. Adam, you are a unanimous who's hot this week for both of us. And you are just in time for our final green flag, red flag of the night. Brad Keselowski makes the NASCAR playoffs. Green flag or red flag? Tom, what do you say?
I'm going to say red flag. That, with the finishes he's had, and then you give him a 100-point penalty to put him even further behind the 8 ball. No way. I don't see how he's going to make it. I think he's got to win to get in, and they have not been showing the speed you need to win. They haven't been running up front. Maybe he can pull something off at a plate track, but that's the only way I see them getting in. But right now, I hate to say it because really was hoping that he could lead a resurgence at Roush, but it looks like we're going to have to wait another year to see him in the playoffs. I'm saying red flag.
Yeah, I'm going to go probably further than you on this. I'm probably saying RFK doesn't even get into the playoffs whatsoever. I mean, Buescher hasn't done terribly this season. He hasn't done, outrageously horrible this season. But he hasn't done good this season either. He's kind of been a mid-pack driver, which is kind of where they were
kind
last
of been
season.
where Roush Racing has been performing lately.
Yes. Yeah.
So, hey, Adam, since you're joining us late, hey, Zach did not make it back from the honeymoon, so it is just the two amigos instead of the three. But maybe he's tuning in. I don't know. But yeah, you're stuck with just us. But we are glad to have you, Adam, even if you are a little bit late.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, Adam, your presence here is always a shining light on us.
And Adam's saying he thinks that he's going to not just make the playoffs, but make the final. Whoa, Adam!
Adam, have you gone insane?
Prediction. That is a bold prediction if I ever saw one.
I don't know about that one, Chief. But okay, you know what? If Brad Keselowski makes the Final Four, then I don't know what I'll do. I will.
Okay, if Brad Keselowski makes the Final Four, we're having Adam on the show as a guest host.
I'm down for that.
You're going to be our special guest host, guest prognosticator if Brad Keselowski makes the Final Four. And speaking of Final Four, we are adding a segment in honor of it being March and it being the NCAA college basketball tournaments. And it is the Final Four week in basketball. So we are going to make our predictions for the Final Four in the NASCAR series. Now, we're just doing this for Cup. We did not go to the level of picking Xfinity and trucks. But you guys that are watching, chime in. Tell us who you've got as the Final Four. I shouldn't say Final Four. That's an NCAA term. Championship Four.
But it's Final Four. Let's just say what it is.
I don't know. I'm afraid the NCAA's trademarked that one. I don't need another copyright strike.
You know what? You got a point.
Four.
You know what? Either the NCAA is going to sue this podcast, or the WWE is going to sue this podcast for whatever reason.
Yeah. Okay, so do you want to go first, or you want me to go first on your Final Four?
You went first like the last 3 times, so I will go first this time.
All right.
For my Final Four. Now, when picking mine, three instantly came to mind as of right now. You got Blaney, Chastain, and Bowman. Chastain because, well, he won a race he's already in. Bowman because, well, he's already won a race, and he's been pretty fast, all season. And Blaney because he's had really fast race cars. It's just that for some reason, one way or another, he just can't finish. Either he gets taken out or something goes horribly wrong in the pits. But Blaney has speed. And so that's why I picked those 3 for the Final Four. The last one, I'm not going to lie to you, was pretty tough. Normally I pick Larson, but besides California, he's not really been anywhere towards the front, which is odd. I mean, I decided to go for Elliott as my Final Four just because it's Chase Elliott. He's going to find a way, through hell or high water. And so for my Final Four, I got Blaney, Chastain, Bowman, and Elliott, not particularly in that order.
Okay, so here is we agree on Ryan Blaney making it. So we both got Ryan Blaney in there. And the thing that has impressed me about Ryan Blaney is right now, Ryan Blaney, despite having horrific luck all year long, is setting 5th in points. I think he is the top driver without a win so far. So I'm looking at my NASCAR app and I'm seeing Ryan Blaney 5th despite having horrible luck. So that tells me that, as you said, he's got a fast car. Okay. Yeah. I also went with Chase Elliott. I feel like, Hendrick is hanging in there. They've kind of got speed. They've had 3 drivers win. feel like Elliott's going to get there. We got a lot of road courses, which is going to benefit him in the playoffs as far as both making it and then having points going into the playoffs. I think Chase Elliott finds his way in there. I think it's his third year in a row being part of the championship 4. Now, here is where it gets a little bit tough. Or I shouldn't say tough. I picked Kyle Larson. He hasn't came out and dominated like he did last year, but keep in mind, last year, his first win was Atlanta. So maybe we're seeing he's just not a fast starter. That as the season goes on and we get into the summer months, he's the kind of the Tony Stewart driver that when you get into the summer months and you get the slick tracks and the hot days, that's when he really shines, because he wasn't setting the world on fire at this point last year. But I think Kyle Larson makes it. Okay. And I realize picking Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, and Chase Elliott is not exactly going out on a limb at this point.
Not really.
But then for my fourth one, I'm going with Tyler Reddick. I put him in the category of has had speed, but has had bad luck. I think we got tracks in the playoffs that favor him. I think that moving Homestead from an early spring race to a playoff race late in the season is huge for him. And I think Tyler Reddick finds his way into the championship 4. I think he's been consistent with speed, but consistently bad with luck. So let's see what we got here, okay? Let's see.
I mean, Adam, look, I've already got you down for Final 4, man. You can't change it now.
I think he's saying Final 8 so we don't get a copyright.
Well, I mean, it's either the Final 4 or like the championship 4.
Yeah. Okay, Earl coming in with Bowman, Larson, Kyle Busch, and Blaney. Bowman has Bowman has separated himself, I think, from William Byron a little bit. I think he's showing more consistent speed. If I was going to pick one of those two, I think I would pick Bowman. So I think you're onto something there. I got to say, though, Simoleons and I were talking about this. I feel like we're seeing Kyle Busch not at the top of his game anymore. And he's an incredibly talented driver. But like I believe at COTA last lap, he didn't nobody hit him. I think he spun on his own. To me, Kyle Busch, top of his game in his prime, doesn't spin on his own. He got into the wreck with Austin Dillon. To me, Kyle Busch, top of his game, he doesn't make that little mistake where he's not quite square on Austin Dillon and turns him. At the top of his game, that's the little difference, that he's right there and he is square and he pushes him instead of turns him. I just see these little things that show me that we might be seeing Kyle Busch's skill set deteriorate a little bit. So I originally had him in there, and then I wound up pulling him out, but I just don't think he's at the top of his game right now.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder if it's more of his driving level going down, or it's because of the new car. Because we saw Joe Gibbs. I mean, all year they've had problems with this car. I mean, about every single problem you can have with this car. So I don't know if it's just the car. I don't know if it's Busch or probably even both. But it is obvious that Busch is not at like top level performance like he usually is. But still, I mean, like, it is hard to count Busch out, though.
Yeah. Adam coming in with Larson, Denny, Ross, and another. Is that supposed to be JHM? Is that JGR? Joe Gibbs Racing?
At first, I was like John Hunter, but then no, that's not Hunter. What? Adam Kerr, elaborate on that.
You think Denny's gonna make it? Man, let me scroll till I find Denny in the standings. Okay, I'm scrolling. 22nd. There he is, Denny Hamlin, 22nd. I don't think he makes the Final 4.
That was a tough sell as of right now. That was an absolute tough sell.
And I like Chastain, but I worry about Trackhouse Racing. I worry about is the Gibbs and the Hendricks and all those bigger organizations, are they going to catch up right, because right now I feel like Trackhouse is up here with this new car, and everybody else is down here. With the resources that you have at Gibbs and at Hendrick and at Penske and at Stewart Haas and every place, are they going to be able to sustain that advantage all year long? Because I mean, there is an army of people at all these other organizations. Are they going to close that gap and pass them by the end of the year? I worry about that for a place like Trackhouse.
But Trackhouse did essentially buy out Ganassi, which at the time they bought him out, they weren't like up like top 5 level, but they were like top 15 level a team when they bought him out. And so maybe they have their resources kind of really merging with their resources and getting all this speed. But I mean, right now Chastain has been very, very fast all season so far.
Well, he has. Where is it? 4 podiums in a row now?
I think
3
so.
or 4. Okay. Adam saying, man, I struck a nerve with Adam. I struck a nerve by talking about Denny being 22nd.
I mean, again, it's still very early in the season. It's only like 6 races in?
I just feel like right now, Joe Gibbs is having Tony Stewart's 2021. I just feel like nothing is going their way right now. And that's the way Stewart Haas was last year. I just feel like Joe Gibbs right now, nothing is going their way. So I don't feel like it's necessarily Denny as a whole, but I just feel like the Gibbs organization, they are having one of those years where, they just can't get it right and they're going to struggle. That's the season that Stewart Haas had last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not just a Denny Hamlin thing. It's more like a entirety of Gibbs thing with these new cars. They just can't seem, they just haven't gotten a drop on them and just can't figure them out quite yet.
Okay, Mike, completely off topic. Chinese.
Man, Mike, now
Mike.
I'm hungry, man. Come
a little
on.
Random, but
man, Mike, I wasn't hungry, but as soon as I saw that comment, now I'm hungry for Chinese food, man. Thanks a lot.
Okay, whoa, Mike, whoa. Okay, look very carefully at this comment. Okay?
Oh, I see it.
Now look at the next one. Mike. I hope you do not have
wife and
girlfriend there together, both getting Chinese food. Not going to end well for you, Mike.
No. Yeah, I better say those fortune cookies. You might need them.
Yeah, what does the fortune cookie say now that we're completely off topic?
I mean, why not? But I'm trying to get ourselves back on topic here. Next week we go from the over 2 mile road course in Texas to the 3/4 of a mile short track at Richmond. Now, for those of you who have been in sport for a while, Richmond, let's just say that's the house that Joe Gibbs built. Because I think, because Tom and I were looking at this earlier today, and I think like 3 out of the 5 best average finishers of the last 5 Richmond races, I'll just go ahead and read them off to you right here. If I can get the ads out of the way. All right, they read as listed: Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, and Christopher Bell among active drivers. You got 3. Actually, no, all 4 active drivers for Joe Gibbs Racing in the top 5. With Truex having an average finish of 2. Not 2 point something, just 2. That is outstanding. And so, Tom, which Tom, so which Gibbs driver are you going to take?
I'm going with Truex.
Going with
Truex. He won the last time we were there in the summer at Richmond. Last 5 races, worst finish is 5th. Last 5 races, finishes of 1, 5, 2, 1, and 1. So he has got this joint figured out. I'm going with Truex.
Okay. Now,
Going with Truex, and I'm going to say Ross Chastain is second.
with Chastain in second. All right. Now, what I originally put down here was just I'm picking any Gibbs driver, just based off of past history. But with what I just said and Gibbs not really being up to par this season, I don't know. This makes it very, very odd.
All right, Mike, Earl, Adam, who you guys have winning Richmond? Let's hear your thoughts on this.
Absolutely, please do. I don't know, man. I'm going Bowman.
He pulled it out last year, didn't he? Spring race.
Yep. He
Short
backed
run
into
at the
yep,
end after Denny
he backed
Hamlin
into that win
dominated.
last year. See if he can do it again.
Okay.
I'm going to go Bowman, and then I'm going to follow your lead here. I'm going to go Reddick for second. So that's what I'm going with. Chat, what do y'all think?
Hey, last time we were at Richmond, summer 2021, Ross Chastain finished 7th.
Yeah, so
and
far.
he seems to be driving that thing way better right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Earl saying Kyle Busch first, Truex second. Adam says he loves Mike. Adam is also saying the 11.
Now, see, Adam, I'm going to tell Zach you said that now. He's going to feel very jealous.
Adam, here's the problem. You're still on Heat 4. I don't even have that game anymore. You go to Heat 5, I'll hook you up, Adam.
I mean, Adam, why do you not have Heat 5, man? I mean, Heat 4 and Heat 5 are essentially just the same game. So, anyway, and guys, for the love of God, please don't get NASCAR 21. Please don't. It's a train wreck.
Yeah, please don't.
God, no. Yeah. All right. So, we are at the white flag lap. Tom, what do you got for white flag?
For the white flag, funny you should mention NASCAR Heat 4 and 5 and 21. Motorsports Games is the publisher of NASCAR Heat or NASCAR 21 Ignition, an absolutely horrendous game, possibly the worst game in the history of racing video games. They are a publicly traded company. Well, guess what? Nobody buys your game. Nobody likes your game. Nobody ever wants to see anything produced by you ever again in the history of video games. Your stock suffers. Before this thing came out, their stock was at $16. Today, and this is a chart, if you can see this, of roughly the 6 months since the game came out, the stock is now under $2. $1.90. You can't really see that, can you? That's
Ouch.
bad. That's what
Ouch.
happens when you put out a crappy product and try to put lipstick on a pig. My God, get your act together and give us a decent game next time, or get out of the way and let somebody else in there who can. $1.90 from $16.
Honestly, at that point, I'd rather just have EA Sports take it back.
So
I mean, even with their recent even with their blunders, I would rather have EA Sports take it back at this point. But I did hear that they were making the next installment, so hopefully it's going to be a lot better. It has to be.
There used to be a company that went out of business, Ratbag Games, that did dirt racing. They did like 360 or 410 sprints. Man, they had great physics in that game. And I think they just went out of business because the game just wasn't that popular. Oh my God, the physics were awesome in that game. Somebody needs to find out whatever happened to that company and whatever code or physics engine they used. I don't know that it translates to pavement, but man, that thing was a lot of fun.
Yeah, but I'm sure that the engine that they use for that game is well out of date now.
Well, there you go, talking about, logical things and real world flaws. But man, it was fun. Adam, by all means, email me after the stream. We're wrapping this up early, so I will be up for a while.
Yeah. But for
all right, Simoleons, what is your parting comment?
My parting comment is that, spring is in the air. It is finally getting warmer. And as a guy from the South, I don't want to get warmer. I wanted to stay the way it was in the winter. Because, I'm a big guy. I'm a big guy in the South where it gets hot, it gets humid, and I'm just not ready to sweat my butt off. Every time I get into the truck, and I don't want to get out and have it already be like 70 degrees with like 90% humidity. I'm not ready for that, man. I'm not ready for it. I'm a winter kid. I'm a polar bear. I think I'm like genetically like part polar bear, but
you need to look for jobs in Minnesota.
I may take it. I may take that. I may take jobs in Minnesota or go to Canada. I don't know.
Okay. Similarly, what's the weather like in Tennessee in late October, like Halloween time?
Late October, it's still fairly warm, probably about like mid to upper 70s.
See, Earl, thanks for tuning in. Okay, I was in North Dakota one time on Halloween. It snowed Halloween night. They had like 4 inches of snow. The temperature was in the 20s. The wind was blowing 30 miles an hour. I was like, oh my God, this is October. I got to come back here in February. What's it going to be like?
Ouch.
I asked people there. They said, come back in the summer. It's great. I said, what's summer? And they said June 30th to July 4th.
Sounds about right. But for as much as I complain about summer, I can't really complain too much because I was down in Louisiana during August. You talk about heat. I now understand why people from Louisiana go like bat blank crazy. I understand because it does not get cold at all. In the middle of the night, it's probably like in like the mid 70s, like 100% humidity. It is not fun. But I think that will wrap things up on my end.
All right. With that, we are out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Adam, you can catch the first part of the show because it will be on the channel on YouTube, The Setup Man. But thanks for tuning in. Adam, I'll check my email here as soon as we are off the air. Take care, guys. Enjoy the race at Richmond, and we will see you next week. And we will be joined, hopefully, by Zach again.
Hopefully. All right. See you guys.